I'm so excited about life like I never have been before.
Mm-hmm.
Never have been as excited as I am now.
Right.
And so I can smile all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I want to take this excitement that I have and share it with others, based on where they're at. And so just come tell us who you are and let's go from there, guys. Who we got here?
Steve Dennis.
Talk to us.
Well, you know, and as we talk about, I think the first thing you mentioned, I think probably a key word that hit my mind was the journey of growth.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I started reflecting a little bit on, what the growth process has looked like, and what it's been for me over the past, especially the past 4 years.
Right.
And the thought hit my mind that I can't help anybody else to grow unless I grow myself.
That is made, yeah.
And there are three principles that have formed my life over the past 4 years. And as it relates to, because we're talking about people, right? We're talking about growing ourselves as individuals, but in the process of it, you want what you're growing with. We heard this when we were kids. It takes one to know one.
Right.
And my point is that it takes a growing person to know another growing person.
Right.
And to be able to help them. And so the 3 points in particular that has kind of helped to, I guess, shape somewhat of a mission of mine has been that number one, I need to value people. Bottom line, no matter who they are, value people. Then number two, value what people value.
Right.
Not just value them, but value what they value. And then number three, make myself more valuable.
Right.
If I make myself more valuable by learning more, by growing, then I can turn right around and complete the cycle again. I can add more value to people. I can value people and add value to them by making myself more valuable.
So yeah, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Now, which is the most important? If you're going to do one, which one would you do first?
Again, I would value people first.
Value people first?
Yeah. Because if I don't value, if I make myself more valuable, but don't value people from the onset, from the start, from the start of things, then I'm going to be more manipulative when I get around people who I don't value.
Right.
And there's a thin line between motivation and manipulation.
Okay.
So if I really want to motivate them, I need to first of all value them.
People has to be valued.
They have to be valued. As we were talking at lunch, and to value what they value, I need to know how to connect with them.
Exactly.
Whatever that market of people is, or whoever they are, I gotta know how to connect with them as well.
Right.
So I do that by valuing what they value.
Right.
As we talked earlier, on the website, on your website, they connected with you more when you dress down.
Exactly.
Valuing what people value. And then on top of that, the number three, I'm making myself more valuable.
Making
By
yourself
learning and
more
growing
valuable.
the 3 hours in the morning.
Tell me about some 3 hours.
What, the value?
No,
The
what
3
are you
hours.
doing to yourself?
Yeah, and again, here we go. I look at that as my time to make myself more valuable. By studying, reading content, material, precepts that stimulate a new excitement every day, where I can start to visualize and see myself sharing that truth with somebody else.
Right.
Because if it moves me, it'll move you. If it moves me, it'll move people. If it excites me, it will excite people.
Right.
And so how can I every day, well, this is great, we're talking about this. How can I every day find a new note of excitement? And if I did that every day for 365 days a year,
Right.
tell me, where can stress and worry fit in? I dissolve it every time.
Wow.
Because I'm living a life of excitement
Fantastic.
every day.
Now you doing the 3 hours Monday through Friday or
For the most part, Monday through Friday, 3 hours in the morning, and I spend Saturday mornings is kind of a family time, but I will go back on Saturday night.
So what time do you get up at one time? So like how
I'm roughly speaking around, I get up around 6:30.
6:30.
And I'm excited about that part because we just set a New Year's goal. And working on the internet, we gotten kind of lazy.
Yeah.
We stay in the bed and wake up
When we
sometimes
feel like
at 11 o'clock in the
When we
morning.
feel like it.
Okay, so I made it after listening to Mike Murdoch, Bob Proctor. I realized that I was literally just throwing away a lot of time.
Okay.
And so one of our New Year's resolutions was to get up every morning, 7 days a week, at 8 a.m.
Okay.
And eventually I'm gonna back that down to 7 and then 6. But we get up every day at 8. And I pulled out my calculator, and 3 hours a day at 365, I think the numbers came out to 1,095 hours.
Wow.
And then we divided that and calculated that it was 27 weeks, a 27 40-hour week is how much time we got for free. Just by getting up 3 hours, and that's half a year of a work week. I mean, 40 hours a week times 27 weeks. Look at how much we can learn. So one of the things that we decided that we want to do was study and improve ourselves during those extra 2 to 3 hours. And so that's what I was asking about. Do you do it Monday through Friday? I'm trying to figure out a formula on what to do and how to do it.
Okay, yeah. And again, the neat thing about it, it'll feel good to you. You know when it's happening. And again, that'll be whether or not you hit the 3 hours the first week, second week, or whatever the case may be. The most important thing is, does it feel good to you? At the end of the day, can you look yourself in the mirror and say, you know what? What a great accomplishment. Okay? And when I do this every year, and I would talk about it a lot to different audiences about something I do every year at the end of the year. And I found myself in 2012 not only doing it every year, but doing it every night. And that is the two, I call them my double L's. Steve Dennis's double L's.
Okay.
What have you learned, and what will you leave?
What have you learned and what will you leave?
On that, for this year or for this particular day, what is it that I learned today
And what will I leave?
that has changed my life, that has helped me to realize that failure is my friend and not my enemy? And what is it today that I will leave? That I won't embrace it again tomorrow. I did it, it happened, but I'm going to leave it.
I'm gonna leave it.
I like that.
You follow what I'm saying? And so again, and that keeps you from getting again, you look at, because sometimes the 3 hours will go into 4. I told Jacqueline today, one of my biggest things in 2012, 2011, that just changed my life, is spending that time meditating, at least 30 minutes a day on meditating. Well, 2 days ago, guess what happened? I meditated twice within a 3-hour period.
Wow.
And I never had done it before, but it just felt good. You know? And so at the end of the day, guess what I told myself? I didn't brag and say, ooh, you meditated twice today. No, I didn't do that. I told myself, what did you learn from the meditation? What did it do to you? What kind of value did it add to you that you can add to somebody else? Because gentlemen and ladies and gentlemen, here's the thing about it. Success is what you accomplish in your own individual life. But significance is what you add to somebody else.
Right.
Yeah, I'm successful when I do my 3 hours. But if I want to be significant, take something from those 3 hours and give it to somebody else. Add it to somebody else. That's when you become significant. When others can say, ooh, what she shared or what he shared changed my life.
Right.
The difference between success and significance.
And you know, and what we also got to realize as well, and I think it can happen, is that if you're spending your goal to spend 3 hours, which is fantastic, we also want to address that mother, that father, that's working on a secular job, 8 hours a day. They get off that secular job from 8 hours, and this is what I call it. We'll talk about it later on. Is that they're written out their mind for 8 hours. And then when they get out, if they got younger kids, they're dealing with sports. Okay, and when they get through those sports, they come home maybe 8 o'clock at night. I think one of the things, a lot of people are saying, I don't have 3 hours. I don't have 2 hours. And you know, a mom, a dad says that he's going to bed, and 5 minutes later he's in bed. Mom says she's getting ready to go to bed, and 3 hours later she's in bed. Okay, because she got so much to do. I think one of the things that we have to find, can a person 30 minutes or 40 minutes, you know, self-grow? And let me say this as well. Can they do, you know, help themselves grow in 30, 40 minutes a day, which I think they can. And I want to say this to those people that are looking. You got to make sure that regardless of what you're doing, as it relates to helping your family, helping your kids, or whomever, that you're taking some time to restore or refurbish yourself spiritually in order to grow. That's very important that you do that, because there's one guy, he says, as it relates to finance, he said, how often do you pay your mortgage? How often do you pay your car payment? And how often do you know, pay other people? And then the last thing he says, how often do you pay yourself? Yeah. Well, to put that in self-growth, if you're giving out all the time to others and you're helping them, how often do you take time to take care of yourself? So you guys address address that when that person has to work 8 hours a day, they come home, work 8 hours a day. How much time should he or she, I mean, you know, we know they should put time for themselves, but how much time will it be, what I'm saying is that they can be effective? 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 10 minutes, what do you guys think?
I think you probably have more experience on that. I'm seeking advice from them.
and again, and I've been there before. There was a time in my life where I didn't have that kind of time. When I lived in Oklahoma, I didn't always have that kind of time to spend like I do now. But here's the neat thing about it, is that I told myself that any time I invest to grow is always quality time. Right. And sometimes it would be 15 minutes. And there'd be other times it'd be 30 minutes. You know, and so, but here's the good thing about it, consistency. Consistency. That's the key, is consistency. Exactly. Because if you're consistent, check this out, if you're consistent, let's say I'm at my kid's game and my daughter plays soccer. That's 2 45-minute halves. Well, who's to say that halftime I can't go to the restroom or go to the concession stand, and while I'm there, intentionally find a way to look at something about life that I can grow from. Okay? What am I doing? I'm staying in that same frequency when I do that. Okay, so I would say to that mom or that dad who's raising the kids, consistency is the key. Just finding that, because you're going to have that day, you're going to eventually have that day or that time where you will have that longevity, that long period of time where you can invest the time that you really want to get involved. When you do that, you're going to find out that's going to be, it's going to have a compound effect to it. Right. To where eventually you'll start to notice, here's a quote I got from Dr. Cheney, that everything in nature, no storm lasts forever. Right. So don't treat it like it's going to be forever. I mean, again, as we arrive on the property here today, got a chance to meet Ross and his wife. I mentioned to them, their eyes got big when I said I have a 30-year-old, 25-year-old, and 18-year-old. There used to be a time that they were 8, you know what I mean, 3, and the boy wasn't even born. My point is that we've had that season in our life as well. So not necessarily calling that a storm, even though sometimes it did feel like a storm. All the bickering, the arguing, the sibling rivalry. But to bring in any sign of relief, those 2 girls they're probably best friends now. Yeah. They're sisters. They went on their first cruise together too, about a month and a half. Wow. They're very close. So yeah, there are miracles for the kids.
14 and 10-year-old.
So no storm lasts forever. So in other words, don't treat it like it's permanent. Because there will come that time, as long as you're consistent, that consistency will also create a new window of desire that will one day, when that time comes, you'll be the one to take full advantage of it. Okay, mom, dad, who's listening to this, you'll take full advantage of it more so quicker than people who oftentimes have the time and don't know how to value it.
And I'll say I know a thing that we do a lot in terms of personal development. We listen to a lot of CDs in the car.
Yeah.
So we're able
That's
to
what I was
find
gonna suggest.
that extra 30
All
minutes.
those cars, when you're
Exactly.
driving to work or to the store, you
Yeah.
can put a CD in, listen to it.
Exactly. Make your drive time your
Learn
learning.
the time,
Exactly.
and that's something we've
And
applied.
we get a lot
Yeah.
out of listening to those CDs in the
While
car.
we're driving.
And it opens up opportunity for discussion amongst ourselves.
Exactly.
We start talking about what we heard.
Right.
We pause the CD, and it's almost like we look forward to
Right.
making these drives.
Yeah.
You know, I gotta go see my mom, and she lives an hour away. It's not a bad drive.
Right,
I'm looking
right.
forward to learning
Exactly.
and listening to the next piece of information I need to get.
Yeah.
And so it's definitely a good time. I know another thing we have on our phones, I download a lot of books, e-books through Kindle. So I can, so if I don't have my Kindle with me, I can download a Kindle app to my cell phone.
Yeah.
And I can read those same books while I'm sitting in the doctor's office for
Yeah.
15 minutes waiting to be seen. I'm just going through my phone and just reading and reading and reading and reading. So
Yeah.
we got a lot just out of that alone.
I think the
Exactly.
technology today will like a lot of time for you
Right.
to
Right.
develop, even if it's like we do
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
we're driving
Exactly.
in cars and downloading.
Yeah.
Like Curtis takes his phone now and he connects it to the radio
Okay.
and it plays out.
Yeah.
So he's
Yeah.
got,
Oh, yeah.
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 So the radio man, you gotta connect it to the
To
radio.
the radio,
On the phone.
my cheap, my
And-
CD player didn't didn't come with the MP3 player hookup and all that, so I had to rig the thing up to work out. So, but it works. I can hear it now.
Yeah. Yeah. This has been proven if you listen to CDs,
Right.
teaching CDs,
Mm-hmm.
a certain amount of hours per year, it's equivalent to a degree.
I believe it. I believe it.
Yeah.
My first mentor, Dr. Earl Soto, he taught me this. He drove a BMW, and he calls his BMW BMW University.
I like
Okay.
he's
So every
driving,
time
he's
you're
learning.
in your
He's
car,
learning.
you stick in a growth CD, a teaching CD that will help you to grow and develop.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Ford University.
Yeah.
Trucks today. He was on Ford University today.
Exactly.
We make those kids listen to that stuff
Yeah.
too.
Exactly.
And they getting a lot out of it. The other day I
He
was
said
saying.
Charlie and Haley,
The other day I was saying.
let the weak say,
Let the weak say,
and they say, I'm
That's
strong.
strong. That's
four
good.
year olds say, I'm strong. So it's getting in them.
Right. Exactly.
They hearing it. They might not be listening all the time when in the car, but it's getting in that
The subconscious mind. There
They
you
picking
go.
it up.
Yeah.
They're picking it up.
Absolutely.
And, they'll start doing things, good things,
Mhm.
and they may not understand why they're doing it, but
Right.
it's
It's
getting
It's in
them.
there. Exactly.
And
They
like
don't understand why they're doing it, but
they doing,
Yeah.
like what's his name? Reverend Knight said, "Who's controlling your mind?
Yeah.
who controls your
Who
mind?
controls your mind?" And
Yeah.
we can either listen to the radio,
Mm-hmm.
talking crazy stuff
Right.
on the radio. I
Right.
mean, just filth going in,
Mhm.
or we can change what we're listening to in our
Right.
cars.
Exactly.
The kid, they complained about it in the beginning, but we the parents,
Yeah.
we control what comes out of that radio.
Yeah.
And we just have made a conscious decision. This
Right.
is what we want to listen to when we
Exactly.
drive this car.
Exactly.
And they're gonna benefit, and we're seeing the fruits of it now.
Uh-huh.
But I know we'll see even more fruits as they get older. I mean, they
Yeah.
With Charlie and Haley.
especially with the younger ones. I mean, they're gonna have to listen to that.
Yeah.
Right.
Till they're 18 years old. You
Right.
imagine listening to that for 18 years?
Yes, sir.
I
Life
mean,
changing.
it changes.
Yes,
It
indeed.
changes.
So you're saying that which goes in the mind is very important.
Very, very, very important. I mean, what goes in, a lot of times, people are stuck. And, one thing I learned from Bob Proctor, a lot of the fears and the beliefs that I've grown up with really weren't my own fears and beliefs. They were the fears and the beliefs that my parents transferred over to me. Hey, don't do that, or this is gonna happen. You better go to school, or you won't get a good job. Their beliefs. I can go on this.
So you tell me for a season in your life,
Yeah.
you did not think on your own.
Did not think on my
And
own.
so you're operating on other people's thoughts,
Other people's thoughts and beliefs.
fears, and opinions.
Mm-hmm.
At what point did you begin to say, hey, wait, now I need to start thinking for myself? 13?
That was about 13. I mean, about 13, I started reading other stuff. But then, you know, my dad, when I was, you know, he kind of prepped me through high school. When you turn 18, you have to join the military and go to college. And I knew at that point I wasn't going to college. So I figured the Air Force was the way to go. So I said, well, I'm going to join the Air Force and get out there and do my own thing. And once I joined the Air Force, I realized that wasn't for me either. Started looking at starting my own business at that time, looking into some of my other avenues, and you know, started reading even more books. I've always read, probably reading a bunch of books when I was 8 years old.
Right.
I've always read, and so I just decided I was gonna try something different. And again, you're gonna get people looking at you, questioning everything you do, calling you crazy. Family, friends, parents as well. They all of them are. Because it's foreign to them. It's not. It's not the norm. You're breaking the mold, and you know. But we tried some things. Been evicted a few times. Had 3 or 4 cars repossessed a time or 2. But like you said earlier, failure was a lesson for us. You know, it was a friend of us. I mean, we learned how not to do some things a little quicker than we needed to, probably. But
we can give that advice to someone else who's starting.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, but yeah, learning, man. I mean, knowledge, just and implementing what you learn and what you read, and just applying it. And friends you associate with, the people you hang around.
Right.
I mean, it changes everything.
It
changes
does.
everything. I think.
Because I started talking and trying to share my plans and my goals to some friends, and they just don't understand it. So I told my
Oh, she was
husband,
crazy.
I gotta get me some new friends.
Yeah, it's time for some new friends.
I gotta get some new friends. I gotta get some new friends.
Time for some new friends.
Seriously.
They just did not understand at all. They thought she was in left field.
So way out somewhere in La La Land, like, oh, I didn't hit a straight jacket.
So when you think at some point in time I gotta get new friends, and we don't want to be to the point we don't judge those people.
No.
It's just that we've grown up to the point where we have to. I think Dr. Dennis was talking about a minute ago. It don't fit anymore.
Yeah.
You know, these same friends where I'm moving at don't fit anymore. I love them. I'll be there if I need them, but they don't fit into where I'm going. And not only that, I'm going to blaze a trail and leave it open if they want to come through that trail at some point in time.
Yeah, no, but it's still important to have people in your circle as you move, so you can kind of keep each other motivated.
That's right.
It's important that you have someone that's trying to, I mean, that's on your same platform, that they can continue to kind of pour into you and motivate each other.
And that's why you need those new friends, right?
And if they're negative and they're not trying to go anywhere, then if you continue to just stay there and listen to them long enough, then they will get you off your path.
Without
so
that.
it's important. So you know, sometimes that you have to make that decision, like, okay, I gotta cut you loose and get new friends. I mean, sometimes, I mean, it is necessary.
Life requires that, don't it?
Yeah, I think, you know, we've experienced that quite a bit. I know I have over the past 20-something years. Experienced that quite a bit. I love it. Actually, I've embraced it now. And it's something that I anticipate. I look at it as a promotion.
Yeah.
When I'm talking to teenagers, I teach it to them this way. You know? Now, math was not one of my favorite subjects when I was a kid. But I love it now. You gotta know how to do some math to deal with money. So I start with the basics. So I take the math equations and I put it up on a board. And I have the kids to actually, in a workshop setting, I have them to actually tell me or to write down the friends that they have that are in each one of these categories. Here's my point. You need to have people in your life that either add to you or multiply you. But you want to be careful and stay away from those that subtract from you.
Right.
and divide you.
Right.
Subtract and divide.
So you ask yourself the question, who are the people in my life that add to me? Who are the people in my life that they don't just add, bless God, they multiply me. When I'm around them, they multiply the stuff I got on the inside of me. I tell people this all the time, your best friends are those that bring the best out of you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not just who you grew up with. It's not just the person who you think, oh, that's my best friend. No, no, no. Ask yourself the question, how much of the best of who you are do they bring out of you? Okay? And be careful, be cautious. And I learned this from Mike Murdoch as well, that if you don't respect my assignment or my purpose, then you disqualify yourself from the relationship from me.
Right.
That's powerful.
Man.
I don't have to kiss any cheeks.
Man.
You disqualify yourself because you don't respect my assignments or you don't respect my purpose. So I have no problem saying, adios.
Adios. See you later.
But those four have been so significant. Do they multiply me? Do they add to me? Or do they subtract from me? Or they bring division? If they do, and again, this is a tough cookie to eat on because I have family members who I've had to take these last two, and I don't mind telling anybody that some of these people I won't see anymore until they're probably at their funeral. Because me personally, I'm at a level now where I'm so strict on staying away from toxic people. If you're toxic, if you're negative, I don't give you 2 minutes of my time.
They will bring you down. And I mean, I had a friend of mine that, this was years ago, we had fallen out and hadn't talked in about a year or two. And during that year or two, I made my business flourish more than it ever had.
Wow.
And then we connected back together. Then everything started to go back downhill.
Yeah.
And then I finally made the connection. I said, man, it's toxic. It's a toxic relationship. And just to give some examples of how the mind works and how when you say things, it starts to happen. He was one of the types of friends, friendships and relationships, you loan people money, no problem with that. But then you have some folks, they're coming at you every single time, making you feel guilty, making you feel bad. And so it got to a point where before they can ask me for some money, I kind of set it up. I'm gonna be late on my rent this month, man. I said, you loan me a few dollars to pay my rent. So he wouldn't even ask me about the money. And then the next day, I'm behind on my car note. I don't know how I'm gonna pay my car note. And then before I knew
It was happening.
money started slowing down. Late on my rent, late paying my car. Got stuff repossessed, and the more I kept talking, I was always trying to head them off. And that's just some examples of some of the stuff that I would say around them. And then it dawned on me. And then we had another falling out again. And thing went right back up. And it goes to the toxicity of a relationship. When your friends are not that you're leaving them behind or that you're not better than them. It's just, again, sometimes friends unintentionally say things that are negative, and if you listen to it long enough, you'll start to fall back, you'll start to believe it, and that's, like you're saying, sometimes it's time to move on. And, or limit the amount of time you spend with these individuals.
Limit the amount, move on. And I'll tell you what, that growth, 3 hours a day, if you can get 3 hours, 30 minutes a day, you putting something on the inside of you. It's going to cause you to grow. As you grow, you're going to change. Certain people are not going to want to be around you. I'm not against certain people not wanting to be around you. You said I'm growing. I'm growing. I'm not against that, but you're changing. So this new person has no desire to be around that person, or that person has no desire to be around the new person. But yet, you want people to grow as well. Hopefully they will sometime. They don't. And so you continue to grow. And others somehow, when their time comes, they'll get there. That's people. So,
and I'll say this, I know because the new stuff that I've been learning over the last few weeks, few months, I've been running, telling all my friends about it.
Wow.
I'm like, man, y'all gotta listen to this stuff. Y'all gotta understand. Let me explain it to you. Yeah. And some receive it.
And some don't.
And some don't. Yeah. And you can't want it for them. And I want them to have it because I see where some of my friends are stuck in their life. And I'm like, man, here's the solution. Yeah. Here is the solution. We can get it. You can get out of this. We can have to work this thing. Some folks just refuse to receive it.
And why are you think?
I think that people cannot see beyond their current circumstances. All they see now is like what's going on. They just don't see that there's a better, it's further set of, you know, looking ahead. I mean, they only see now just what's around them.
And they possibly programmed a certain way. They just can't.
And I think it goes back to like what I said earlier, like people's past. I mean, although you can't change your past, but you can create your own future. And I think so many people, there's
comfortable.
Yeah, they're comfortable, they're content, and they just feel like they can just waddle in their own self-pity, and they just feel like, well, the past can dictate their future. When it can't, once you make up your mind, and I think it's just all about them making that decision.
Yeah.
And I know for me it was, you know, people couldn't tell me anything. I had a pride preset, not by myself, but preset by the opinions of maybe my forefathers or my family or the people that, you know. So I thought what I had was, you know, right. So I had come to the light somehow. I don't know. I think coming to the light for me was continuous study over the years. Then finally I arrived at a point now was absolute freedom. So if you're studying, I think you were talking about Dr. Dennis, just reading and opening your mind up to stuff. At some point in time you come to a place where, wow, there's something different. There are a lot of people who are in prison and don't know they're in prison. Now, somehow, I think it should excite us, and not like it was exciting you to tell your friends about it, but they didn't know they were in prison. I suggest to you just be there whenever they decide to, well,
exactly.
Whenever they decide, what is that you tell me about? Somebody said, I'll help you.
Yeah, it's a quote from this book I'm reading called A Course in Miracles. And it's a quote from Jesus that says, if you want to be like me, then I'll help you. If you want to be different, then I'll wait until you change your mind. Because you will change your mind.
Wow.
And another one of my favorite ones is this: when the student is ready, the teacher will appear.
Right.
Because you can't, I mean, and I have another guy I'm mentoring right now as well, and he shared the same thing. He's going to tell everybody about it. And I shocked him when I told him, I said, don't. He said, what do you mean? It's too good. I said, because you're wasting your energy talking to people who are not receiving from you. It's like taking pearls and casting them before pigs. And you take that level of frustration that that might seep in your subconscious mind because you're telling everybody. You're telling everybody. And it starts to drain you from telling to somebody.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Get mad. I got mad folks in one of these. I'm like, what's wrong with this guy?
And again, so they have the same experience that all of us have had, and we will continue that.
Right.
And that is when the student is ready, the teacher will appear.
Right.
The teacher hadn't appeared in their lives yet because that student is not ready.
Not really ready. But let's say this as well. The excitement with Carl or yourself or myself or Miss Kim as well, telling them, oh, they're not ready at that moment. at some point they will remember the excitement. So even if they didn't accept it, at some point they're gonna remember that.
Right.
And it might come to them, I don't know what they might be doing. Might be driving down the road or changing a tire on the car or washing dishes or whatever, and all of a sudden it comes to them. What was Carl really talking about? And you might get a call. You know, and they might not never come back through you. But at some point you share what you had, the excitement. And that's what you want to get in them, the excitement that you had. And at some point they'll talk about that excitement that you had and come along and have a good life as well. But let's do this, guys. This has been a great conversation. Dr. Dennis mentioned something about energy. And what I would like to do the next time we get together is talk about energy. I'm talking about physical energy and mental energy.
Exactly.
That can really help people. Because what's going on, people need energy. And I think thoughts and ideas and stuff that has given me energy and you guys energy, others can get it as well. So in our next session, let's talk about some of that energy, that how you get energy, what is energy is all about. Because I know that you're excited, Dr. Dennis. You know, I know Mr. and Mrs. Ross is excited as well. And you're excited about something. Something is happening in your life that you're excited about. And that needs to be shared. And I think we can do that on the next time. But until then, we'll close out and let's each have a closing comment and we'll be finished. What about that?
That's correct.
Look right into that camera and tell them what you're talking about, Dr. Dennis.
Well, you might want to put a time limit on it. But I think, if anything, I would say that in conclusion, that know for sure that your growth is intentional. Ask yourself the question, what is my plan to grow? And then, if you want, you can mentally assess how many of your buddies, how many of your friends that you know actually have a plan to grow. I mean, literally, written down plan to grow. And most people don't. 98% of people don't have a plan to grow. So I would encourage you to write down what your resolution is or what your plan to grow is. Where would you like to be 11 months from now? So if it was the end of 2013, what would you like to look back and say about this year that you did to help you to get to that place you want to be?
Oh, this is new to me. Just be good.
Well, I would just kind of piggyback off of Dr. Dennis. You know, oftentimes I've done a lot of things in my life, but was never really ever specific about what I wanted to do. So most of the time I found myself wandering throughout the year, and at the end of the year nothing was accomplished. And so just kind of piggyback your goals. Just what are some of the things you want to do? Top 10 things you want to do, write them down. Be very specific. Write down, give an example, and it might go a little long. I'm gonna get a short version of this story. Because goal setting and just, you know, writing it down and having a vision of the things you want is going to help it come quicker and faster. And when I was younger, I'm from Mississippi. My dad was in the Army, so every 2 to 3 years we'd go to Mississippi, and then I would see all these women, and I was young, I didn't have any sense, but I saw these women taking care of these men. And I said, man, I'm going to get me one of them women. And so I always said, I want me a woman, I'm going to marry me a woman from Mississippi with braces. I don't know where the braces came in at, but anyhow, I met my wife. The internet wasn't big back then, so I was shy, introvert, so I would look through the classified ads, and they had these singles classified ads in the newspaper. So I called the number, listened to all these girls on the voicemail talk about themselves, and I left myself a message about myself. And so I heard her message saying, hey, I enjoy horseback riding, scuba diving. And I was like, man, a black girl who likes scuba diving and horseback riding. Now, that sounds interesting. So I connected to her.
Oh my God,
connected to her message, and then we met, went on a date, and she had braces. Now I didn't think anything about it until later on we kept talking, said she was from Gulfport, Mississippi.
Wow.
And then
Amazing.
you know, so it was, you know, so the key, you know, you write down your goals, very, very specific.
That is so good.
And just to throw a little funny tone to it. I shared this with my wife the other day. I said, well, if I would have known exactly that I would have gotten what I got, if I know what I know now, I would have been a little bit more specific and asked for a few more extra qualities because she's an independent woman and she wasn't taking care of no man. You know, so be very specific in your goals because you will get what you ask. Very specific.
So you get what you ask for. Until next time. Until next time.
May all your wishes be fulfilled.
May all your wishes be fulfilled.
We wish you all green lights
in 2013. That's it.
That's right.